Brexit LIVE Bitter France threatens to blockade Jersey's electricity, well retaliate. France has threatened to cut off electricity to Jersey due to a spiraling row over Brexit fishing, with one politician adding the desire to do battle is palpable. New Brexit fishing laws were introduced on Friday, sparking accusations from France that this would limit their own opportunities. The new measures included a new post-Brexit licensing law being issued in Jersey, which means French boats that want to fish in nearby waters need a license issued by the island's government. France were given 41 licenses to fish in Jersey waters, a number France said was too small. France hit out at limits on where ships are able to go, as well as how long fishermen can spend at sea and what machinery they can use. In retaliation, France has now threatened to cut off electricity supply to Jersey, with around 95% of power for the Channel Islands coming through 3 undersea cables from France. French politician Bertrand Sora said a vessel from Granville usually fished for scallops and whelks on average 40 days a year in Jersey's waters. He said it would now only have access for 11 days. France's Maritime Minister Annick Girardin also said the country was great to use retaliation measures. She said, "We are ready to use these retaliation measures." Europe, France has the means, that's written in the deal. With regards to Jersey, I would remind you, for example, of electricity transmission by underwater cable. So, we have the means. Even if I would regret getting to that point, we will if we have to. A spokesman for the UK's Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said, "We have been working closely with the EU and the Government of Jersey on fisheries access provisions following the end of the transition period for licensing." France's Maritime Minister Annick Girardin also said the country was great to use retaliation measures. She said, "We are ready to use these retaliation measures." Europe, France has the means, that's written in the deal. With regards to Jersey, I would remind you, for example, of electricity transmission by underwater cable. So, we have the means. Even if I would regret getting to that point, we will if we have to. A spokesman for the UK's Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said, "We have been working closely with the EU and the Government of Jersey on fisheries access provisions following the end of the transition period for licensing." Hillary Clinton slammed Russia for meddling in elections, with the former U.S. Secretary of State blaming Vladimir Putin for influencing the result of the Brexit vote. The former U.S. presidential candidate was invited by former Tory party leader William Hague to address a Chatham House event on the future of liberal democracies. Hillary Clinton warned that Russia is the primary adversary when it comes to interfering in elections. as well as accusing Russia of meddling in the 2016 American presidential election and again in 2002. Ms. Clinton said there was significant evidence of Russian influence over the Brexit referendum. The Labour Party candidate running in tomorrow's Hartlepool by-election has been taunted for not backing Brexit in an area where the majority of constituents voted to leave the EU in the 2016 referendum. Labour appears to be on course to lose a crucial red wall seat it has held since 1964 as voters prepare to elect a new MP for the northeast coastal town. Dr. Paul Williams has spent the last few weeks campaigning to make Hartlepool a better place to live by declaring himself a brilliant representative for our town. However, the Conservative candidate Jill Mortimer disputed his claims as she criticized Dr. Williams for supporting remaining in the EU despite nearly 70% of residents opting to leave the bloc 5 years ago. Vaccine Minister Nadhim Zahawi was grilled over France's electricity cut-off threat to Jersey over disputes on fishing rights, stating cooperation was needed between actors to resolve the issue. Nadhim Zahawi was invited on Sky News and was grilled over the latest conflict emerging in Jersey after discussing the government's latest investment into blood testing infrastructure in the UK. Fishing disputes between France and the UK have boiled over once more as new laws restrict French vessels from fishing in Jersey waters which the neighbouring countries say they were not consulted on. Mr. Zahawi urged the European Commission to work with the UK to resolve the issue and explained the negotiation teams are taking the issue seriously. Labour has been criticised for picking a Remainer as their candidate in the Hartlepool by-election despite the town backing Brexit by almost 70%. Tory co-chair Amanda Milling said she was pretty astonished by Labour's choice of candidate for the by-election. The party has picked former MP Dr. Paul Williams, who lost his Stockton South seat in the 2019 general election when the so-called Red Wall crumbled to Boris Johnson. Ms. Milling said Labour's choice was completely at odds with what Hartlepool voted for after the town backed Brexit by 69.6% in the 2016 referendum.